Alright, hello guys. So, this is one of the best builds that I ever made, and this is the RMS Titanic, and this build took me around 1 year and a couple of months to make, and there's been a few changes in recent years, but mostly this is how it's been. And this is an exact model basically of the ship, and it does have a full interior and a iceberg replica and a full docking area with the boarding building. So I will give you a look of the outside of the ship, and then we will go inside top to bottom. Now, before we do that, I just want to let you guys know that my dad actually created the exterior of the hull. Basically, I just did a little bit of the hull and the whole bottom, and I also did the whole interior and the ship's funnels, and I made pretty much that whole dock too. Yeah, and the iceberg. Alright, so without further ado, I'm going to give you guys a tour of the exterior real quick. And how I did the interior was, I got basically all of my information, off of Titanic Honor and Glory, which is very good for accurate detailing, and also historical images, and I also got some from, or mostly, RMS Titanic deck plans. They were very helpful, and they are crucial when you are building the Titanic. They are very important. Okay, so this is where we're going to start. So this is the boat deck. So right off the bat, we are now in the bridge wing of the ship. There's the main bow, and you can see the iceberg directly ahead. So this is mainly used for fireworks, where they keep them. And then this is the bridge. And then here we have the telegraphs, we have the compass and the ship's wheel. And then we have the wheelhouse. So here we have the main wheel, and then some cupboards, and the telephones, and the watertight door switch. Here we have the captain's quarters, we have the captain's sitting room, we have the bedroom, and the bathroom with the tub. Now, this is the officer's quarters, but there's meant to be individual cabins for the officers, but I sadly did not have enough room. So I thought that was the best thing I could make to fit that. Then we have the smoking room for the officers. First class room with a bathroom. Then we have the charter navigating room, blueprints, elevator engines, the Marconi room. There's a dome. Send out SOS signals. And then now we are in the also famous grand staircase. My personal favorite room on the ship, but I love many others. Here we have the bronze cherub. So now we're gonna go aft. Here we have the gymnasium. There is camels. We have rowing machines, some limbo dumbbells, boxing bag, the electric bikes, and then that's just a stuff telling you about the ship in an image. And then of course we have the lifeboats here and the davits. And here, this is just the raised roof for first class. That's the compass platform. And then we have back here second class. So we have second, we have engineers, we have first, and we have crew. Right here, this is deck storage for deck chairs. Other side is the officer's mess, and then we have, in this area, we have storage room, a fan room, and then if you're wondering what they look like, if I can get in there, look like that. And then this is where the dogs were kept on the ship. And then on this side we just have more storage and galley access. And then of course this is the second class entrance. Okay. So before we go on the main interior of a deck, I'm going to show you guys the promenade deck. So here's the front, and then here is the promenade. Alright, so the next room is going to be downstairs. Oh, by the way, this is a grand piano. Alright, so we're here on the A-deck landing. We have the elevators over there. Forward here, this is some first-class cabins. These are the basic cabins, and then this is a little bit bigger with a bathroom. And then you just have a smaller example here. Okay, so next up, down this corridor, some of my favorite rooms on the ship. So we have the reading and writing room. Got a lot of inspiration from the plants and their materials from the game, if you have not heard of it before, Titanic, Honor and Glory. It's an amazing experience if you ever would like to see it. It has about 50% of the ship available to see, and one day they are hoping to have 100% available. So, next room on the boat is the first class lounge. My absolute has to be my second favorite room. Well, no, this is probably my first favorite. Second favorite, maybe the grand staircase. But I just love how this room looks and came out. Then back here is a bar. And you have some bookcases. This is that's the cabin of the guy on the Titanic that took the only known photos of it. Then we have Thomas Andrews' cabin with the blueprints. This is the aft-grand staircase. Here we have probably my third favorite. We have the first class smoking room. And then this is just a lavatory in there for men and women, so don't mind that. And then this is a crew area. It's actually where they would prepare drinks, serve them. And then this is the bar, public bar. And then this is one of the palm courts. That is just a fan room, and now we will go down. So, since we're over here, why not, let's just start on second class. This is the open promenade for second class. And then we have through here the entrance. Then we have the smoking room with a piano. And then we have bathrooms and then a bar. And then back here we have the aft staircase with the elevator. And then next up we will go to first class. So this is the Cafe Parisien. One of my favorites. Then this is the waiting area, a reception, coat hanger. We have a wine storage room in there. And then this is one of my favorite rooms. This is the a la carte restaurant. This here was mostly from Titanic on Blu-ray, but images helped a lot. And I just love this room so much. It was so beautiful. Then we just have, you know, the pantry and then the gallery. Don't mind the campfires, they're not a fire hazard. Cause this is right, so yeah. And that is a corridor of first class cabins. Those are more cabins. And then I'm gonna show you some of the fancy rooms on the boat. This is a parlor suite. Comes with a bedroom, a closet, a bathroom, and a private dining area, promenade. And there's another parlor suite, or two on C deck. And so here we have B deck. We have the boarding entrance. And then back that way is just cabins and the elevators. So we'll head on down to C deck. Not much to see on this deck. This is a cloakroom. This is a staircase. Cabins. Here we have the purser's office. Purser's quarters, and then the purser's area for safe, table, stock. And this is just all cabins. Then this is one of the nicest rooms. It comes with a bathroom, private sitting room, a closet, and the connecting main bedroom. Then we have the maids and valets saloon. In there's the kitchen, and then we have a barber shop, and these are just cabins. And then I'll just show you guys this one. This is the hospital. We have a padded room, and then these are all different sick rooms. They're all the same. And then this is the covered promenade for second class. Here we have the entrance, and then here we have the library. And I'm going to do the very back and the very front after I work my way to the bottom deck. So we're gonna head down. Welcome to D deck, saloon deck. So here we have the second class dining saloon. And then these are our second class cabins. Very basic, and through here we have food storage, plate storage, and this is the second class, first class kitchen. Have a pantry for second class, hospital, and a bakery. Then this is the second class galley. This is butcher's shop, another hospital, and then we have the first class pantry. Down here we just have another bar and steward's office, and then that is a printing room. Then this is one of my favorite rooms. This is the first class dining saloon. Biggest room on the ship. Here's the captain's table. I just love this room. Here we have first class reception. And then we have the main boarding area. More cabins, stairs to the lower decks. So that's basically everything on D deck. So we'll head down. Alright, so let's go over here first. So this is all just first class cabins. And then while I'm here, I'll show you guys this because you can't access it from elsewhere. So this goes down to the squash port on G deck. And then we have first class cabins that way. Then this is the crew alleyway. We have escape ladders for all the boiler rooms, and then the engine and turbine room. And then these are just steward's cabins. You got like bathrooms, and then like more cabins, a lot of waiters' bunks, cooks' bunks, chef's bunks, more chef's bunks, more restrooms, and then there is a potato room and a washing station. That's all third class cabins. Okay, next up, I'm going to show you this area. Okay, here, so we have inquiry desk, the barbershop for second class, boarding entrance for second class, chief steward's cabin for second class cabins, more second class cabins, and then bathrooms that way, cabins that way. Heading back into Scotland Road, that's third class entrance. And then we might as well do the stern section and the bow section first, so I don't have to come back to it. So here we are in third class, everybody. So first we will go upstairs. Out there is the third class area, promenade, poop deck. First off, we have the smoking room area. That is a storage room, bar, steering gear, the general room, and then every deck here is all restrooms and then cabins. The only difference is on G deck, these are the only two baths that they had. Let's head back on over to Scotland Road. And then now, might as well take you guys here because you can't get to it elsewhere. So this is the dining saloon for the third class. That's just a fan room and locker. This side is a galley / pantry. This is crew areas. Another potato room and washing area. butcher's shop, bread storage, bakery, and then bunks for bakers and butchers, and then a pantry here, steward's bunks and a fan room. Come out the other side. And then on the other side here we just have a butcher's shop and a baker's shop. Okay, so now we're gonna go up front. So, up front, this is the crew's galley, preparing food, crow's nest entrance, that is a second class stairwell, stairs to D-deck, galley storage, or no, that's a third class stairwell, woodworking shop, seaman's mess, there's meant for machinery, that's the wood deck, anchors and whatnot. Other side, we just have same third class stairwell, stairs to D-deck, and surgery room, wood deck entrance again, fireman's mess, deeper down, well, first fireman's mess, that's actually the same one. And then this is third class open space, spiral staircase for the crew, cargo hatches. That's just, I put that there on purpose. Here we have bathing areas for the firemen and their bunks. And at the end here is just storage, and then storage for the anchor chain. Then it is the same thing on this side. Just more firemen bunks. Then we just have a couple of third class bathrooms, and then cabins, and then this area all down here, all these corridors, is all third class cabins, and there's a couple cargo hatches. This is F deck, now we're on E deck again. So here we have the trimmers, bunks below the firemen. Here we have the trimmers bunks again, because there was a lot. They needed a lot of crew to man the boilers. 29 Scotch double-ended boilers. Yep. Then we have firemen's bunks again. to have more firemen, bunks, and then lastly, we have electricians' bunks, we have engineers' bunks, third-class open space bunks, post office, baggage for first class. Then we have greasers' bunks, leading firemen, that's just a chain locker. Or no, my bad, that's the engineer's quarters. And then on this side, we have the stoker's bunks, and then the leading firemen. Such as, for example, the lead fireman in Boiler Room 6 was named Frederick Barrett. If you do not know that, there is actually a really good documentary. I don't know, I don't think it's available anymore, but there is a really good one. You look up the reason the lights stayed on in the Titanic documentary, and you should see the men that fought with their lives to keep the Titanic's power on. Very heroic story. And then I'm just gonna head down here. Then that's just mail. And that's just cargo. And then all through here it is cargo, baggage, and cars. So now we're gonna head back up to the E-deck landing on the grand staircase. So many consider the grand staircase to only go down to E-deck, but in reality it does technically go down to F-deck. Okay, so back here in this hallway, there is Stewart's cabins again, which there was quite a lot. And each class, if you didn't know, had their own stewards, and they were basically necessary for providing clean sheets and things of that nature and help. Turkish bath attendants, masters and SBC room, not really sure about that. More Turkish bath attendants, and then a cabin for stewards. And then that's a drying room. And that's just a fan room, drying room. Then through here, the ship used a lot of linen. So that is all linen storage. Then there's spoiled linen. And then the room where they dry it all. And then back here, there's actually also a clothes press room. Through here, that's just the fan room. Here's the Turkish baths. I love this room. I just wish the ceiling was higher. We have the famous fountain, mirror like from Honor and Glory, changing rooms. Through here we have a locker room, steward's bunks, and then that goes back upstairs. Here we have the electric bath. Here we have bathing facilities. The temperate room, which is basically a sauna. And Turkish bath is basically a cooling room. Here we have the plunge bath. We have some showers and changing rooms, and this is the main swimming pool. And then past those double doors down there, second class cabins. So the last area we have to explore is the very, very, very bottom of the boat. So let's head down the cruise staircase. And I will show you what is down here. So first off, we have refrigerated cargo on either side. Up front, we also have baggage, cargo, and cars. And then we have the boiler rooms. So here is boiler room number 6. Escape ladder there. And then the closing mechanism does work. Boiler uptakes, and then come through here. That was boiler room 5, boiler room 4. I don't know why that's closed. Fix that. Then we have boiler room number 3. Then we have boiler room number 2. And if you didn't know, boiler rooms 6 through 2 on the Titanic were double-ended, and boiler room 1 was single-ended boilers, meaning coal can only be put in one side. Here, we have the reciprocating engine room. This is run by redstone, and technically you could make this go faster or slower by the command of the repeater or also the bridge. Program. It's a wheel, and then it move. Some wires. And then that's the power shaft. And there's the turbine engine. That's an engineer's workshop with prop shafts. This is the main electrical room for all the decks and stuff. The main power generator here. back there, that's all cargo, cars, storage. And then up above, and there's food storage, cargo. And then, last but not least, I will show you guys the propellers that do indeed work. Prop shafts. Here's the rudder. This is the turbine engine powers the central propeller. Two outboard propellers are powered by reciprocating engines, if you did not know that. And then here's the dock where you go in a minecart. There's different boarding areas. And then you get to trade with a villager for your ticket, and basically that's how it works. And that is basically it for my RMS Titanic. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I will see you guys next time.